On the world's highest peak, there lives a spirit that has never known how to bow. Soaring through storms with eyes burning with fierce ambition and pride. But in this world, the most dangerous thing is not the storm outside, but the warmth and comfort laid out below, like a sweet, shimmering, golden trap. High above the valley, the king watches the sky with a calculating gaze, holding a prize meant to lure even the most rebellious hearts down to earth. The contrast is stark. The cold, harsh blue of freedom versus the golden, suffocating glow of the palace, where survival is easy, but the price is high. He does not use a net or a bow. He uses the promise of an end to hunger, a promise of rest for the weary, wandering warrior. Tired of the endless hunt and the freezing winds, the eagle begins its descent, drawn to the flickering lights that promise a life without any more struggle. As it nears the ground, the scent of the feast fills its senses, masking the underlying smell of old dust and the heavy silence of a gilded tomb. The fire in its eyes begins to dim, replaced by the soft reflection of wealth, as the exhaustion of 1,000 flights finally catches up to its soul. The king speaks in a voice like silk, asking why one must fight the storm when they could sleep on velvet and never hunger for food again. It is a gentle touch, yet it feels like a shackle. The bird hesitates, torn between the memory of the wind and the immediate comfort of the feast. Why hunt when the meal is given? Why fly when the cage is warm? The eagle looks at its worn talons and feels the burden of its freedom. The king whispers that the world will serve the bird if it only steps inside, offering a life of absolute peace within these beautiful, transparent palace walls. It sees a sanctuary where no rain can fall and no wind can bite. A place where the struggle of the wild is replaced by permanent, safe stillness. The first taste of dependency is sweet, washing away the bitterness of the hunt, making the wide, dangerous sky feel like a distant and unnecessary memory. 1 foot inside the comfort, 1 foot still in the wild. The moment of choice arrives as the golden palace light slowly begins to drown out the stars. He knows that once the comfort is accepted, the spirit is already half broken, and the great king of the air is becoming a pet of the valley. The realization hits. The cage is too small for a creature of the sky, yet the allure of the meat keeps the bird from turning back now. The tragedy is not being imprisoned by an enemy, but when you voluntarily clip your own wings just to fit into a space defined by someone else. To stay in the warmth, the bird begins the unthinkable, pulling at its own magnificent feathers, shedding the very things that once allowed it to touch heaven. Each feather lost is a piece of its soul drifting away, a painful sacrifice made at the altar of security, turning a legend into a mere shadow. The pain is immense, but the fear of returning to the storm is greater, driving the bird to continue its self-destruction until it is small and broken. The king offers no help, only a cold observation of the bird's descent into madness, watching as the eagle prepares to shatter its own skeletal frame. With a final, desperate act of self-mutilation, the eagle breaks its own strength, trading the power of flight for the safety of a permanent, gilded prison. It fits now. The cage is no longer too small, because the bird has made itself smaller, losing its essence to belong in a world of glass. There is a horrifying relief in the surrender, a dark peace that comes when you finally stop fighting for the greatness you were actually born to achieve. The door is locked, not from the outside by force, but from the inside by a series of choices that led to this silent, airless finality. The prize is won, the bird is caged, and the king's fascination vanishes, leaving the creature alone in its new, expensive, and completely empty golden world. A king of the sky has become a decoration of the earth, a tragic monument to the cost of choosing an easy life over a meaningful one. The lightning that once called it to battle now only serves as a reminder of a life it is no longer capable of living, or even dreaming. In the silence, the weight of the sacrifice begins to settle, A heavy realization that the comfort it bought was paid for with the very soul of it. Every drop of blood on the silk is a testament to a stolen heritage, a physical mark of the price paid for a life without any struggle. The master has left, the cage is locked, and the eagle is finally at rest. But it is a rest that feels more like an early grave. Years pass in an instant, and the eagle is now unrecognizable, a shriveled, pathetic version of the magnificent predator that once dominated the highest mountain peaks. When you give up your identity for safety, you lose the respect of everyone, including the very person who enticed you to give it all away. You become an object of pity and ridicule, a curiosity for those who never had the courage to fly, yet can now look down upon you. Through the thick, distorted glass, it sees its brothers still dancing with the wind, reminded of the glorious destiny it abandoned for a bowl of meat. The memory of flight remains, but the ability is gone forever, leaving only the phantom itch of wings that can no longer catch the rising mountain air. In the reflection, it searches for its true self, but finds only a stranger, a broken thing that traded its majesty for a quiet, painless, slow decay. The safety it craved has become its greatest torment, a transparent wall that allows it to see the world, but never truly touch its wild, chaotic heart. Even the food, the very reason for this sacrifice, has lost its flavor, becoming a bitter reminder of the trade that cost the bird everything it was. It is not alone in its misery, surrounded by others who also chose the cage. A gallery of fallen kings who traded their crowns for comfortable chains. The voice of the mountains is silenced, replaced by a weak sound of regret that no one hears, and no one cares to understand in this palace. To those who provide the cage, you are never a guest. You are merely a possession, a conquered thing that has lost all value and its utility. When the heart stops dreaming of the sky, the bird truly dies, regardless of whether its heart is still beating within the confines of its glass cell. Sunset falls over the palace, a final curtain on a life that could have been legendary, but chose to be safe, silent, and ultimately very small. The glass cage is no longer a home. It is a tomb for a living soul, a beautiful monument to the death of freedom and personal power. As the light of the world fades, so does the memory of color and life, leaving only the stark, cold reality of a choice that cannot be undone. In that final look, there is only the weight of regret, the realization that an easy life is the most expensive thing a soul can ever buy. Never break your own wings just to fit into the society's cage. The peace found there is nothing more than a slow and very comfortable death. True freedom requires the strength to endure the storm, for it is in the struggle that we find out who we were always meant to be. Do not let the lure of a settled life blind you to the glory of the heights. Your wings were made for the infinite, boundless blue sky. Remember that the eagle who fears the wind will never know the sun. Hold on to your wild heart, no matter how many golden trays are offered. You were born an eagle, a master of the skies. Do not choose to die as a mediocre creature, trapped forever within a golden, soundless glass cage.